So yeah, super excited to start it, and yeah, thanks for all joining for the first masterclass. But yeah, Mohammed's going to lead the first part. So she's got someone else joining. Do you want to get started with the presentation, Mohammed? Hi, Zachary. Thanks for joining. Yeah, we're just saying thanks to everyone who's filled out the surveys so far. And yeah, we've seen a lot of like similar responses come up. So it's exciting because we're going to be working on a lot of the problems and challenges that all your organizations have been facing. We're going to kind of cover how to apply AI to solving those challenges. So yeah, very excited to get started.
Good morning, everybody. I'm wondering if you guys can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, that's cool. So good morning, everybody. Hi, Archie. Sorry for the little delay. Actually, I was kind of setting up the presentation. Just give me 1 sec. And yeah, okay. So Archie, how do you want to organize this? Do we do the intros first? Do we directly get into the content of today's masterclass? What do you suggest we do?
Yeah, well, I guess we already did introductions of the teams in the last one, but just to briefly say again, I'm Archie. I'm the CMO of Reports AI. So super excited to be working with you all on this program. This is our first Impact Accelerator, and I feel like we're going to learn a lot about actually running these programs as well throughout the process. But really glad to have you all joining us. And as I was saying earlier, like, based on the survey responses I've seen so far, I feel like this program is going to be really useful, because like a lot of the issues that have come up as like quite common themes amongst the responses are stuff that we're going to be covering throughout this program, and how to kind of apply AI to solve some of those issues. So really hoping this is going to be super beneficial for everyone.
All right. Okay. So hi, everybody. I am Mohammed Malik. I am the CTO of Reports AI. And I'm also very excited about the program, especially about the different masterclasses that we'll have to do and the one-on-one sessions that we plan to also do. Let me first stop the screen share in the meantime, and then we can start in a bit. So the overall objective of the program, like Archie introduced initially, it is to be able to help impact organizations leverage AI better for their optimizing their workflows and the objectives that they have with their different tasks. But at the same time, what we really would like to do is to make this as practical as possible, so that you can get out from the different masterclasses with practical knowledge, practical know-how on how to implement AI in your current workflows. So every single masterclass that we're gonna be doing over the next few weeks is organized in that way, where we go over the theoretical part first, and then we dive deeper into the practical steps you can take to implement the theoretical knowledge that you just learned a few minutes ago. Today, masterclass is not different. It's going to be the same thing. Today, we're going to go over like the foundations of AI for impact organizations. As you probably all know, Reports AI is tailor-made for this space, and there's a reason why. It's because we've been in this space, we've learned how things work in this space, and because we do have technical knowledge on how these tools are implemented today, we'd like to share that with you. So we'll start with the theoretical part, then we'll dive a bit deeper into the more like practical steps you can take today to assess the AI readiness of your organization, to identify the workflow that you can automate, whether that's like task automation, workflow automation, or even document automation, which is what is happening. And eventually, we will share with you resources that you can use even now, starting this week, really, to identify the workflows in your organization that you would like to automate. Then the second masterclass will go over more practical steps on tools to use, and then how you can automate some of those workflows that you've chosen. And when we're done with the theoretical masterclasses, we'll go on the one-to-one with your organizations to help you implement those automated workflows. I think, Archie, I've covered that a bit, right? So if you would like to add something before I jump into the masterclass.
Yeah, I'd just say that like we want these sessions to be as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions throughout, don't be afraid to just unmute yourself and say something, ask a question whilst we're going through, because we want these sessions to be interactive. You know, we want to hear your thoughts on particular parts. We want to hear what questions you have. We want to hear your input. So yeah, please don't be afraid to like unmute yourselves and speak up. But if you need to, then just post it in the chat and I'll keep an eye on that.
Yes, feel free to stop me at any time. I like interactive sessions. So I don't know if you can all see my screen. If you can, could you just react in the meet? Archie, you let me know if people can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it. You just need to full screen it.
Yes. I'd like to. I'll make it a presentation. Can you all still see it? Archie?
Yep, got it.
All right, okay, perfect. Okay, so today, the first masterclass that we're going to be going over is about the foundations of AI for impact organizations. So how is AI currently being used in this space? What has been done, what's being done currently? What are the impressions that people have in the impact space when it comes to AI? This technology really changed how every single work is being done today. Even the work where we thought initially when we came up with these different models and we thought, okay, it's at the very early stage, it's going to be just interesting for text generation or like code generation. As of today, the use cases of like AI is just incredible. And every single day we have new SaaS technologies, new teams coming up with like new solutions, and the impact space is not left behind entirely. Even though our space is like known to be a slow adopter of new technologies, we do not have much of a choice right now. AI has a tremendous impact on how things are done in the space. And today's masterclass, we're going to be going over what is the current state of AI in the space, what is being done by different organizations, what is being done at different levels of the impact organization spectrum, like at the donor level, international NGOs, CSOs, like local ones, like what is being done and what is the focus of every single little part of it. And then we're going to go over like how you can identify how ready your organization is today to be able to implement AI in the process. What are the considerations that you have to take into account, and what are the most important steps that you can take right now to just start with something and automate that inside your organization. So the learning outcomes that we have as objectives for this masterclass session is 4 main objectives that we have. I'd like you guys to come out of this masterclass with an understanding of AI's real potential, right? What is realistically possible right now with the different models that we have in the NPO space or in the impact sector, and what is being done already, what is not necessarily being done as is, but could be done, right? So I would like you guys to come up with a clear understanding of the real potential and not the sci-fi potential that we currently have when it comes to AI. The second point is I would like you guys to learn the key AI distinctions in terms of workflows. That's very specific to the impact space, right? We are not doing necessarily vision modeling or anything like that. So what we do mainly is either task automation or document automation or AI-assisted decision making. So what is the difference between these 3 paths that you could take, and which one is like identify which one is interesting for you right now and how you can implement it inside your organization. I'd like also you guys to identify quick wins. It's really important when you try to implement AI in your workflows, especially as an impact organization, to start small. I don't like saying it start small. I think it's like have a quick win, right? Start with a workflow that is tedious, that is painful, that is, making everybody mad, and that you can automate now. But that is like the automation shouldn't be so complex and require so much technical skills. But we'll get into that in a bit. I don't want to dive too deep into that right now. There's a slide about this. Then at the end, I would like you guys to come out with a way to design your own integration plan. So you clearly know what are the steps that organizations have to take to be able to identify the workflows that they can automate, to prioritize, to identify the quick wins, and to implement these these improvements and or these AI integrations. So those are the learning outcomes that we're looking for. At the end of the masterclass, we'll be sharing with you as well tools that you can use to help you with every single one of these tasks. All right, so to get started, I'd like to do like a quick overview of how AI is currently being used in the impact space. The impact space has been going through some tremendous changes, especially in 2025. For anybody who's been in this space for the longest time, you've probably identified that this year has been quite an interesting year where like the funding scarcity happened, a lot of like compliance requirements got increased, a lot of governmental compliance requirements got increased as well. A lot of things are happening in the space, and donors are not only squeezed, everybody else is squeezed as a result of that. And so as of now, the AI adoption among different organizations in this specific space has been uneven. It's not the same thing. So, for example, if you look at the larger organizations, and Archie has been working with some of them, those organizations are experimenting with custom-made tools. They're pretty advanced in like how they would like to use AI. It's not just, for example, we have off-the-shelf tools that we'd like to use. Those organizations are actually literally going towards the path of like having their own AI tools built in-house to streamline their processes. Obviously, that's because they're also undergoing a lot of like regulation restraint, not only from their own donors or partner sides, but also from government sides over there as well. But smaller impact organizations have a lot of barriers in adopting these tools. Some of them are internal to how we used to work. Like we have old ways of thinking and old ways of processes, but some of them are just also used to, due to the resource constraint that is happening globally. So some of the key challenges that smaller impact organizations are currently having is limited staff capacity and technical expertise. Well, that here, especially for the AI case, is due to our way to internally organize ourselves as smaller NPOs or smaller impact organizations. It's like we tend to complexify tech adoption so much that the simplest tech tool that has to be integrated will require, in our mind, a bigger staff capacity or a higher technical expertise. It's not necessarily like factual, but the way we work and the way we organize and the way we've been doing it for so long, it is actually part of our bottleneck. So like we do tend to need more staff capacity or technical expertise to be able to just adopt a tech tool. You will see in a few minutes that with AI, this is actually not the case, even though it seems to be a problem that we think we have, but it's actually not really a problem that we can actually have. So we have also heavy reporting demands from multiple donors. Obviously, for smaller organizations, we are closer to the implementation side. It's not like the donors where they have the luxury to look for their custom tool because the workload is not the same. So they have people that they can allocate to doing that. Small organizations sometimes can have multiple donors at the same time, multiple projects. And even if you're not the implementation organization, you might be the one that directly interfaces with the implementation partner. So you do have a heavier workload usually than the donors might have. And then that also does impact tech adoption speed, right? And even capacity. We also have like multi-donor compliance pressure, which is an indirect cause of like the current state of the environment. Obviously, the donors having more restriction at a government level will need to do more compliance at a smaller level or local level. And we also need to like increase our compliance at a partner level. So that specific problem is not directly due to the way smaller organizations are, but it is a byproduct, but we do have to deal with this as a challenge as well. And then obviously we have the resource constraints preventing technology investments. Initially it was complicated enough already with funding cuts happening. It is even harder now to be investing in any new technology. And this is a problem that is not necessarily about to disappear, but then we do have the capacity to adapt to the current state of the space and be able to increase our investments in that spectrum. Because technological investment is not really like a choice right now; it is a must-have. So, coming out of this slide, retain three things. I believe our biggest bottleneck is our old way of thinking. Because right now we've always been doing things the same way. We do think that we need dedicated data science teams. We need expensive infrastructure, especially when we hear AI. It sounds like, you know, in 2021 when you hear blockchain, it sounds so sophisticated, so complex. But it's really not the case right now. The new reality is that right now all these tools are really lightweight. A lot of them are really accessible. You don't even need to be like you don't need to go through any complex procedures to get started or to know how to use. They are really, really straightforward. You get to see a few of them during the program as well, practically, and you will see how easy it is to actually use any of these tools. Report says one of them, but like whether you are using text generation with like ChatGPT or Cloud or Gemini or even Gamma for like PowerPoint presentations, right? So regardless of like which tools you use right now, the new reality is that these tools are extremely lightweight and really, really accessible. Then we have the opportunity, which is maybe like one of the bottlenecks that people kind of currently have in their minds as well. I'd like you guys to see AI as a force multiplier, right? The worry that we have is that AI might be replacing some dedicated staff. It is a justified fear, but the safest way to look at it, or the better way to look at it, is that these technologies are here to stay. The best way we can increase our impact is to leverage these technologies to stay relevant. Because if you don't actually learn how to use these tools effectively, and you still do things the old way, the old processes, the old, like, really slow, very manual process, there is a chance that some other people will be able to use these tools effectively enough to be able to cover your job. But then, if you also know how to use them, it just multiplies the force of the organization. So you're still relevant in that sense. So it's important to identify the opportunity of AI in our space. We'll go over a few use cases. Right now, I'm talking about like, okay, efficiency internally, but it's also like even efficiency in finding funds, right? In raising new funds or grants, or finding funding opportunities. Or you also have even like you know, you can leverage AI to do so many things. Maybe brand awareness, you can do that as well for your organization. So many things that you can automate. So you have to see it as a force multiplier instead of seeing it as a tool that is here to replace some dedicated staff. So hopefully we can, during this program, give you enough practical knowledge to not be on that spectrum. Feel free to stop me at any point in time.
Yeah, I feel like that's
if you have
just
any
a
questions.
powerful point to end on that slide, Mohammed, that like this is all about leveraging this tool to make you better at your jobs. It's not about replacing what you do. It's about empowering you using the tool. And I think like the more you learn about AI, the more you realize that it's a tool to be harnessed, not something that you can just plug in and let it operate on its own, because that's actually when people run into the biggest problems, is when there's no human oversight.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the whole point for this specific program, right? We're going to be teaching people how to use most of these tools that are currently being used in the space, and we'll even go over some of the custom tools that are being built that we've come across with the bigger organizations. And yeah, so right now, I'd like to get into the misconceptions, and I would like to clear that up before we get into the common workflows that are being automated right now in the space with AI. One of the biggest misconceptions that we have is justified. It is justified. And like I like saying that it's justified, but it is like, it is too simplistic to just stop at that, which is AI will replace that. Yes, okay, yes, it will replace some work of some staff, and if that work is the only thing you do, there's a good chance that that work will be automated. I think the better take is to look at it as these tools that we currently have are only gonna get better, and the better they get, they will get better at doing every single task that they are currently able to do. So your role is to know how to leverage them effectively so that you get to do that faster and then bring a lot more value to your work, right? So that is a misconception that you will be replaced. The only way these tools can actually replace you effectively is if you don't learn anything new and you just do that very, very, very simple task all the time. Yes, there's a good chance that models will be able to do that. But then if you know how to use these models, then you just become multiplied instead of being replaceable. The second one is AI requires big data teams. This was true a few years ago. It's not true today. As of today, because of the model as a service model that has been developed, we don't need any big data teams, and we've all been using AI individually at a point in time. Like, for example, you've been using ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure, to refine your email. Maybe you write an email, you send it to ChatGPT, it refines it for you. You're using AI. The tools, the models behind this very simplistic UI are extremely complex. So a few years ago, if you wanted to do anything with AI, you had to have a dedicated data team. You had to have like some machine learning engineers. You had to have some, and specifically if you're doing text, you had to have natural language processing engineers. There was a lot of complexity behind it. But with the SaaS model, with the model as a service model today, you absolutely do not require any complex team or setup or anything with almost any of these tools. The third misconception is that AI is only for large organizations, because it sounds like a very sophisticated technological advancement. No, AI is for everybody. It's for everybody because it's coming for everybody. The tasks actually that AI is really, really good at, if you think about it, are more like tasks for small organizations, right? The big organizations do use it more for like decision making, or helping with decision making, not even taking the decisions, right? Summarizations, classifications. We'll go over some of these in a later masterclass on how they're using these tools. But the bulk of the whole thing that made AI popular was text generation, so document generation, all these kind of tasks. Usually, smaller organizations are more concerned by AI. So it's not for large organizations, for everybody. And the fourth one is AI writes nonsense, which is true. It is. I'm calling it a misconception here because it is possible to improve it. It is possible to really, really improve it. Out of the box, yes, it is. It is a text generation tool. It's really a probabilistic tool that is just giving you the next most likely token or word. So obviously, if it's doing that, you have a lot of probability to get some invented text or nonsensical text. But the reason why I put this here as a misconception is because that specific problem, you have so many ways to improve it, and it's possible to really improve it. And you'll see how we do it with Reports AI, and you'll also see, you'll learn how to do it yourself with some of the other tools that you use, right? So these are a few points that I wanted to go over as misconceptions. Now I'd like to get into what AI can realistically do today. What is it being used for in our space, right? So in the impact space, AI is still at a very surface level. We do have some applications that are a bit deeper. Surface level in the sense of it is still linked to our workflows, which for us is the most important right now. It is the most important, right? It is helping us in our workflows, and that's it. And in the impact space, what we're using it for right now is the first one will be reporting automation. Obviously, that's like a bulk reporting automation. There's a lot of little tasks inside: data quality control, data processing, data analysis, inconsistencies like detection, text generation. You have a lot of things that come into that box of reporting automation. But that is also one of it's a very popular use case right now on how organizations are using AI to streamline their workflows. Then we have knowledge management. AI is being used to share knowledge, the way I like to say it, right? So organizations are using it to create a bulk of like, okay, this is a repository of all the knowledge of our organization, of all the projects, our reports, our log frames, whatever information they have. And then they're using AI to retrieve them efficiently. So you have kind of a chatbot that you can just talk to. That specific use case is being used in multiple ways. Some people are using it for just knowledge retrieval. Others are using it for advising, right? So maybe you're working on a project for women's health, for example, right? You could create your own knowledge base, and you could connect an AI model to the knowledge base, and you can create an interface that will allow the people that you're supporting to just chat with that AI model and ask it questions about women's health. So there's different ways that you can use the knowledge management part of AI. It's a very, very interesting use case. We'll also dive deeper into that into a later masterclass. And how you could quickly build something to just create your knowledge base, put in your data and then refine, like not really fine tune, instruction tune your model in a way that it becomes like an advisory if you wanted to. So we'll get into like some of these use cases in a later masterclass. Document drafting also is very popular in our space when it comes to leveraging AI to automate your workflows. So document drafting could be contracts, could be notes, concept notes, proposals, terms of references, policies. I mean, whatever document is repetitive or whatever document can be improved with the help of like a really good text generation tool is actually being used right now. So document drafting is quite popular as well in our space when it comes to leveraging AI. Then task and workflow automation. That is the most interesting one because some organizations are advanced enough to be using agentic AI. So they will just sit and map out all the workflows that is currently causing repetition or consuming time or consuming resources. And then they will custom build an agentic workflow to automate that specific task or that specific workflow. It could be answering emails in a way, right? If they have a repetitive way to answer an email, they can build an agent that will connect to Gmail, fetch out a specific type of email, generate some responses, send them to their own mail server and send it. Like, you know, they will just sit down and map out all the workflows that they have that is time consuming for them and how they can automate those processes. Not all organizations are going down that path, but that is actually pretty also popular in the space. In this masterclass, I'll just show you how you can also map out your own workflows right now and identify the ones that you could automate. And finally, decision support. Usually in our space, decision support with AI is more like suggestions, right? Because the human in the loop is still extremely prevalent and very important. What is happening is like organizations are using AI to help with like support with decisions. You will teach your AI model, okay, this is how. Just a quick example would be, we are launching a call for applications. These are the requirements. So you train your model to just classify the organizations that best fit these requirements. So like kind of compliance checks, that's also very popular in the space. Big organizations are especially using these kind of tools for assessing applications, for assessing program evolutions. This is like the most popular use case for them, combined with knowledge management. For small organization, it's more like reporting automation, document drafting, and task work and workflow automation. So regardless of like what you do right now in your organization, you will probably fall into one of these categories of application for AI in your organization. Any questions so far? Feel free to stop me anytime. Okay, so we're almost there. As of right now, yeah.
Sorry, Mohammed, I think you're just a little fast. If you can just take it slow, you know, we Africans, our English is not that too much.
So okay. No problem. Thank you so much. I'll go a bit slower. Yes, thank you. Okay, so for AI integration, we've identified 3 levels. So for what we do in the impact space when it comes to integrating AI is to look at 3 main integration levels. The first one is task automation. So that is basically you identify a repetitive steps that you take. For example, task automation would be what example can I give you to help you with this? Yes. Let's say I have a project where I do data collection on the fields with Kobo Toolbox. Kobo Collect, I connected to ONA, for example. And this is where I get my data collected. One of the repetitive tasks that we'll have to do will be to just clean the data. We export it into CSV, then we detect duplicates in the data. Very simple task, detecting duplicates. It's tedious. It is simple, yet it is really tedious. So one level of like AI integration would be to have a system that will allow you to just detect all duplicates, for example. That's like a really simple task. But it is tedious if you have to do it manually. Imagine you just collected the data like 2,000 entries in a table. It can quickly get really tedious. But that's the first level of like how you could integrate AI into your workflow is just to detect duplicates. Then after that, then you have detect inconsistencies. That can also be a second task that you can automate. So task automation is one of the simplest units, which is detect one thing that you keep doing that AI can do, and then you just make AI do only that. Another simple thing would be maybe you receive field notes through WhatsApp, right? You can have like an AI model that will just take those notes and summarize them for you. Very simple task. You usually would do it for your reporting. So that's one task can also be automated. That's like the simplest level of AI integration. A second level in our space, in the impact space, is still document automation, which comes on top of task automation, because you have to do these little task automations first before you can get to produce some of these documents with AI models. There's a lot of considerations to be taken into account when it comes to using AI to generate a full-on document. Some of these considerations would be the data that is used, right? If it's for a specific project, if you're doing a report for a project, then the project context matters. The indicators, I mean, the KPIs matters. The mail plan matters. The planifications matter. The objectives matter. So like, there's a lot of things that come into that specific document automation level that could be automated initially when you do task automation, and then you can aggregate some of these task automation models to then get you to be able to produce documents. We'll get into how you can actually do this effectively in a little masterclass as well. There's a masterclass dedicated to practical steps, like for document generation. It takes a bit of thinking around it, but then we'll show you practically how you can do that effectively. A third level would be AI-assisted decision making. And that usually is really interesting for all organizations of all sizes, even though the bigger ones are the ones that really like using it, because it can be so helpful. When you are, let's say you are screening applications, right? Then this is extremely interesting because it allows you to screen so much faster. For example, we've seen cases where organizations have AI models, and we've also been requested things like this. So they have AI models where if you are applying for one of their call for proposals, the AI model would be like chatting with you to just collect information. Because this AI model is connected to the organization's knowledge base, it can quickly assess if your project or if you as an organization matches their objectives. So it helps them with their decision making, screen faster, get faster to value, and also helps you refine your thinking. So it's like a really, really interesting use case that we are seeing that is quickly rising, especially at the donor level. And I believe it's also going to be very popular at a smaller organization level as well, because it's gonna help you so much in terms of like quickly getting to decisions and not wasting a lot of time trying to understand context yourself. You just create your knowledge base and then you're good to go. This is particularly, it's like one of the levels that interest me the most. So I'm very excited about the masterclass about like how to build some of these tools. This is really, really, for me, it's like it's going to be the pinnacle in our space when it comes to AI integration. So why does this all matter for your organization, specifically in the impact space, implementing AI faster? I mean, it's really, it's even hard to imagine right now any organization not using AI, because you will be falling behind so much. Not only do you have the capability of boosting your efficiency, your workflows, your output, showcase your impact better, but at the same time, you stay relevant with, even if you had to go on lower resources, less resources. Maybe you have the same amount of resource, but with these kind of tools, you have now more output. So not using AI is clearly already falling behind. Now, the benefits of using it are even like hard to pinpoint. You have reporting workload reduction, which is specific to reports AI. I like talking about that, but like for smaller organizations, it's one of the most popular use cases to automate these kind of tasks like reporting, summarization, content creation. We'll get into that in a bit. Then it allows you to also multiply your output quality and team coordination as well. I mean, it's just hard to. I mean, in 2025, it's just not imaginable that an organization is not using AI in one way or the other. Even though it can be, maybe it's not being used at an organizational level, but I'm pretty sure everybody inside the organization is currently using AI one way or the other because the benefits are just tremendous. So I wanted to, before I get into the common bottlenecks, I'd like to pick any questions that you might have. Archie, feel free to also like bring out any questions or inputs that you would like to do, because I'll get into like bottlenecks of content in reporting, then in content creation. Then I will get into how you can identify the workflows in your organization, the practical steps. So we just have a few slides left, like 3 of them. So yeah.
Yeah, great, Mohammed. It's been great so far. But I'd encourage everyone, especially like for this particular slide, it'd be great to hear from the individuals on the call what like the common challenges you're actually facing in practice are, and then see how you relate to some of these ones that Mohammed's going to go through here. It'd be great to hear from you.
Exactly. I picked here reporting and content creation because they're much more like the bottlenecks in the current bottlenecks that AI is tackling for smaller organizations. But then I'd love to hear from different organizations as well what is currently their own bottlenecks, especially if anybody has in mind how to, I guess Gloria had it, how to create their own knowledge base and then build like a chat bot. I'd love to discuss about all those, because that's like, for me, some of the most interesting use cases as well. But then I wanted to get here quickly into the common bottlenecks in reporting and then in content creation that are currently being tackled by AI. And if you recognize any of these, then you need to tackle that yourself with some sort of AI tools. It could be some of those shadow AI tools or anything like that. But then right after that, I'll show you how you can map out your own bottlenecks and right now, and then share the tools with you so you can experiment with it this week as well. So currently, some of the most interesting bottlenecks that is being tackled by AI, especially when it comes to reporting in different organizations, are missing and scattered data, right? So organizations will end up having so many data scattered across emails, different mailboxes, sometimes spreadsheets, WhatsApp chats, sometimes our own brains, right? So that's like one of the first task issues, gathering this data and making it consistent enough, taking off duplications, and kind of having a centralized brain for the organization. So that's like one of the first bottleneck in the reporting workflow, also present in other workflows as well. The multiple deadlines, especially for smaller organization, if you have like multiple donors, multiple projects, multiple deadlines, templates, it's quite complicated. Then inconsistent writing quality. People don't have the same way to write, so people don't have the same levels of writing. AI is a great equalizer, especially in that front. It really allows people to have very high quality documents produced. And then we'll also tell you what we suggest to do. We don't want you to just give AI and let AI do it. You have to be at least doing some work first. Then the AI model can help you improve on the quality of your work. Then long feedback loops is also something that is currently being tackled by some AI tools. Which is basically automating the back and forth, automating some of the review stages. Those are bottlenecks that are also being tackled with AI right now when it comes to reporting. Donor-specific templates also being tackled by AI models. Reports AI does it, but then I'm pretty sure you can find maybe like some other tools that will do something similar, which is basically just picking the right donor template for the right project for the right time and then filling it in. So those are bottlenecks also that are currently being tackled by AI models. Sometimes these are due to silos of information in organizations, and that's also really due to the first part, which is missing and scattered data. So AI is an excellent solution to these issues. Lost institutional memory. Of course, people go, people come, documents disappear, drives get lost, and mailboxes get closed. So at the point in time, organizations do have this difficulty with having their own institutional memory. It was really complicated initially. We had ways around it. The most organized one of us had some SharePoints or Outlooks and I mean OneDrives, Google Drives organized, very well organized, and yeah, I mean you had to go through hoops to make it happen with AI today, and then even if you do that initially, the retrieving is still complicated. You have to know in which document, which folder is in which part is in, you know, regardless of how well organized you were. And AI just made this so much simpler because now you can just ask the question that you're looking, the response that you're looking for, just ask the question to a model and the model will find it itself for you and bring it back to you. Now, some of these tools also integrate chatbots that will help you do that, but we'll talk about those in I'm probably in Masterclass 2 or 3. Archie, you'll let us know. So similarly in content creation, which is really important for all organizations of all sizes, but the smaller ones need it even more because you have to showcase your impact and you have to showcase the work you're doing. It's really important. And I'm pretty sure you have all faced these problems at least once, the bottlenecks that are currently being tackled by AI. So if you have fragmented information sources, just like for reporting, then AI can help you. If you have limited staff capacity, especially for producing content or for like on a consistent basis, right? So if you have that kind of issue, then AI can really be helpful. If you have inconsistent storytelling, because people come and go, you have different people that write different posts, and then you like to make it consistent, AI is excellent at doing that. And you can even teach it yourself. This is exactly the type of storytelling or the type of writing that we do. AI is just unbeatable at that kind of work. So approval delays, if you have those issues, tools are tackling that kind of problem, streamlining approval workflows. So that those are also use cases that are currently being tackled by AI. So if you have them, then yes, definitely leveraging AI is important for you. Pressure for donor compliant language. That links back to inconsistent storytelling. If you're sharing things on your social media platform, every project might have its own guidelines for content, and every teams might have their own guidelines for it. If you have that kind of like scattered requirements or compliance requirements for your content, then AI is excellent at helping you streamline that process. Or the lack of visual assets, maybe you don't have enough photos or videos for all the posts that you'd like to produce. If you do have them, great. If you don't, then AI is getting increasingly better at producing content. And especially for those of us who used to pick images on the internet, which is forbidden in most cases, you then fall into copyright issues sometimes. So AI just came to make that so much simpler because you can generate really realistic assets for your posts in like no time. So if you have any of these bottlenecks currently in your workflows, this is just a few of them actually, but AI is tackling a lot more than these, but this seems to be, to me, the most popular ones that are currently being tackled by AI models. So if you have any of these, then you definitely need AI to help you with your current workflow. And the last slide I'd like to get into before getting practical would be, now we can discuss on how you can implement your AI strategy, how you can identify which workflows you need to automate. I'll tell you what are the steps to follow, but then the idea is to help you today map out how your organization is, find out the workflows that need automation and how you can detect which ones to automate. Then later masterclasses will be going over on how to effectively do it. On the one-on-one sessions, we'll help you implement them. So before you do anything, you have to identify your priorities. It's really important, right? Our organizations, we have so many things that we can automate, but we also have not only limited capacity in terms of staff, but we also have limited capacity in terms of time, resources, and technological understanding. Now, even though people know how to use these tools easily, the tools are very easy to use. People do have a barrier in entry mentally. They think everything is complex sometimes, right? So you have to be really careful in this strategy on how to implement it, because if you fail it initially, it's going to be really complicated to catch it back. So that's why I just draw here seven steps that you need to follow. Then I also made a document for you that will allow you to follow any of these steps on a checklist basis. And if you can check across all these boxes, then I think you're ready for your AI implementation strategy. This is also what we do to help organizations assess, even if they need reports AI. Like we help them get into some of these steps first, identify, is this even going to be helpful for you? or are you way back before you are able to use any of these tools? So the first step is to understand your bottlenecks, right? So you have to know exactly where your time is important, or where time is being used or is being wasted, I'll say. You have to understand where quality matters a lot. You have to understand where consistency matters a lot, that you're not getting what you're looking out for. So understanding even the bottlenecks that you have is the very first step. Now, and then you have to be able to map your core workflows, which is, okay, in our organization, we do reporting, then we do mail communications, okay, we do grant applications, so grant management. Maybe we do data collection. Maybe we do so you have to map out all these workflows that you do. And then you have to be able to break down the workflows that you think are currently the most tedious, which is step 3. You have to be able to break them down into steps. Okay, so for reporting, an example would be the first thing we do is data collection. We do that all the time. At the very first level, that's after all the planifications, all the project level stuff. But the first thing we do is data collection. Then we do data cleaning. Then we do data analysis. Then we do text generation. Then we do the reporting. Okay, so you can break them down into different workflows, into different steps. Now, if you do that, you'll be able to identify the most tedious and repetitive ones, right? So those ones that are tedious, so that consume your time a lot, that require a higher quality of consistency. This is where you lose usually your quality or the consistency of what you're doing. This is where your staff spend most of their time. This is where everybody is frustrated. Well, that is the automation opportunity. So you will be able to rank all the different steps for the workflow that you picked, and then you will start with the highest ranked priorities. It's really important, but it has also to be, I'll show you in the document so you get to see when I talk about priority takes into account as well how easy it is to implement, the quick win, okay? Because if you're gonna be starting with AI, implementing AI in your organization, you have to start small. You have to start with a workflow that you can automate today and everybody can take advantage of it and see a change in their work. When they get to see that change, then you can complexify a bit more. You can add the next workflow, then the next workflow, and then you can then make your whole organization efficient in that sense. But you have to start with a quick win, which is the 6 points here. So which is start with low effort, high impact wins. I'll show you how you can identify those in your organization. I'll share with you the tool as well that will allow you to do that. And then you have to be able to align the tools that you're going to be using, which is choosing the right tool for the right job, with the need that you have, which is also really easy. Once you understand the strengths of all of these tools, you will be able to quickly identify which tool is good for which job or which one matters for which specific task. So these are the 7 steps that you have to follow before doing anything when it comes to implementing an AI strategy in your organization. It is to identify your bottlenecks, map out your core workflows, break them down into steps, spot the most pressing workflows that are the most tedious, then those become your automation opportunities, rank them by impact and difficulty, then start with the low effort, high impact wins. So I call them the quick wins. Start with those, then find the right tool for the right job. If you can check these boxes, then you will quickly be able to get practical and start right now by automating some of your workflows at a team level, not even just an individual level. Any questions here so far? Archie, feel free to jump in.
That's great so far. And in terms of these kind of workflows, as Mohammed said, we're going to essentially allocate this to you as a task for the next session. So have a think. I mean, if there's any workflows you can think of off the top of your head, and things that are challenges for you right now that you'd love the chance to automate, yeah, then please unmute yourself and let us know. But that's basically going to be a task for the next session, right?
Yeah, more like we'll be sharing the document with everybody so they can get a chance to. I'll share especially this specific document with you, Archie, so you can share with everybody else, which is like AI readiness and quick win checklist. So it's going to allow them to quickly map out their current workflows and see which ones can be automated by AI. It's even going to help them find the ones with the most priorities and the ones that are the most important to automate right now. And then from there, I'm also adding like a checklist that they can use to identify, to see how ready they are to implement these workflows, so that in the next masterclass, we can get into every single step of these, like on how to implement and get into the tools directly. So that's going to be a bit more practical over there. The next masterclass, I think, is much more focused on like using the tools practically. So right now it's just to give them this document, which is the one that I like using, to quickly identify for any organization the workflows that they need to automate or that they can automate today, and see or assess how ready they are to be implementing some of those automations.
Great.
All right, cool. Okay, so if yeah,
as you say, should I jump into the platform?
No, I'll just finish this, then you can do that.
Okay, sorry, I thought you were done.
Yeah, I'll just finish this then. So I was saying, if you have these 7 steps, then you're almost ready to go. I wanted to show you quickly. I don't know if you can still see my Google Sheets document. Can you? Did I share the screen or the window?
Yeah, I can see your Google Sheets document.
All right, cool. Okay, so then I shared the screen. So this document here, we prepared this for you. Just that this will allow you to quickly assess some of the workflows. I mean, these 7 steps that we've just shown you, this document will help you identify the workflows that you need to automate, the tasks, break them down into like simpler tasks, and then from there you'll be able to see which ones you can start with. So this is more like how to identify your quick wins, as I like to call it. So it's a really simple document. We've divided the whole into like different tables and sections that have different roles. The first table here, I mean, this is just basically your organization information. But then the section B here is how to, like, it's going to help you list all the processes of the organization and perform that you perform like on a weekly or monthly basis. The frequency is up to you. As you can see, the table is really simple. You will just have to name the workflow. In our case, it could be something like, let me say, reporting. The frequency, I can even make it more specific. I can make it like weekly reporting. The frequency is weekly. The owner in the organization could be Archie, Brixton, and then the note, which I can like here, I can just detail what Archie does. So it will allow you to map out every workflow that you currently have. This could be data, quality control. We do this, let's say, on a monthly basis. This could be by Mohammed, and then explain a bit how that works. So this is basically, here you will be able to list out all the workflows you have. Feel free to just add sections to the table. It's good if you can keep all of it in one table, because the next sections are linked to these and they help you identify the ones that you have to prioritize, or the quick wins that you can focus on right now. So after you've mapped out the different workflows that you have internally, then you have the workflow breakdown. So for example, I'll say, okay, the first workflow, which was reporting, I'll say here, this is weekly reporting. This table, feel free to also multiply this table. You can copy this and then just make it because like if you have multiple workflows here, then you can have multiple tables here. The document that we're going to share with you will connect the last one, which is the quick win prioritization, to these tables, so that it will list automatically the ones that you can prioritize. So that's going to help you get faster to value, right? So here I can be, okay, this is for the weekly reporting. The first step number 1 for us here is data collection. Data collection tools that we use can be like Kobo, Collect. The time spent maybe like 10 hours. The pain level, that's not too much. 2. We already have everything is already set, so it's fine. And then you have data curating. I mean, feel free to like map everything here. I can be like, okay, here I just use Excel. This takes me like 15 hours. That's a bit more like a pain. And then I can add the the other steps that I do for that specific workflow. So you can multiply this table, you can copy it and just duplicate it so that for every workflow that you map out here, you can see all of them here. It's really important that here you just put the numbers because the document that we're going to share with you is going to be connected. So these numbers will be used and the numbers in other tables to be able to list here the quick wins that you can right now get into automating with AI. So once you're done with like breaking down your workflows into different steps, like I told you, here you can identify steps where the workflow slows down or where the quality drops. For example, in this case, this table will be like, okay, from these two steps, this one is part of a problem because it is a pain, it takes longer. So the steps that will be prioritized here will be data curating. So these will be connected, so no worries. We're going to help you really identify this a lot faster. So data curating, why it happens, why does it slow us down? They can explain it here. What is the impact on the team? So here also we've shown you the values, which is low, med, and high. Please be specific when you're choosing them. We can make this a drop-down list if you wanted to, but if you put, for example, low here, or the impact is high, that will also be used for us to automate this table for you. Okay? This column is not useful, don't need it. Here, can you just take it out? Yeah. So, and the last section, which is the quick win prioritization, this document will be really helpful for you, this tool especially, because it's going to allow you to, it's going to rank for you here the steps and then the workflow that you can quickly focus on now and automate with AI. Then you can see from on the other masterclasses which tools can be used to automate those. So this document will be shared with you. It'll be really helpful for you to just experiment internally. You'll be able to see which workflows you have, which steps you take, which ones you can automate, which ones are causing you the most amount of problems, and then we can identify the quick wins that you have so that on the one-on-one with your organization, we'll be able to help you implement those. So this is going to be really helpful for you. Here, I just mapped out the AI readiness checklist, which is if you can check all these boxes, then you are so ready for implementing AI in your workflows, right? So we have the workflow mapping, the bottleneck identification, the quick win evaluations, and the opportunity matching and the priority selection. So these documents will come together. This is more like a secondary part. The most interesting part to fill out will be the tables here, so we can identify together your quick wins and help you automate that. So Archie, I'll share this with you. Hopefully you can share this with everybody else.
Yeah,
it's going to be really, really fun.
That's really great. Yeah, I think it's going to be so useful for you on this call, but also for us to like really identify what these key bottlenecks are, so we can start to get more practical in the next sessions, as Mohammed said, where we start to show you actually how you implement these automations in practice, and then that way, once we've started that, when we get into the one-on-ones, it can be really practical straight from the get-go, because you've already identified the things that you want to work on. We've already got them in the masterclass, and now it's just about questions on implementation, and we can like really tailor that to your specific needs in the one-on-ones.
Exactly. So this doc will be shared as well. Thank you, everyone. That was it for me. Archie, I think you can take it over from here. Now, if you have any questions, sure. I'd love to take them. This is just an overview of what Reports AI does. I don't think there's a need for a demo here. But I'm really excited to be able to contribute, because this is particularly my passion. I really love helping organizations identify how they can leverage AI today to get to value, because I know how impactful these technologies is going to be on the space. I've been in the NPO space myself for the past 7 years, by the way. I was working for an international organization, then for a local organization. I was working as a field manager. I think one of those days I'll be sharing some of those pictures on LinkedIn as well. But I've also been working as a manager with multiple teams across Mali, where I'm actually joining this call from Mali right now. So I know exactly how the space has been evolving for the past 7 years, how things have been changing so drastically, and especially for the last year. I mean, 2024, 2025 has been extremely impactful for the space. our team was in Mali here was like really close with the donors. We had a lot of funding going on for ourselves, and we could foresee the impact of not just AI, but the impact of geopolitical, geopolitical activities on the space, and how much resource constrained all these organizations were going to be. And one of the most effective ways that we had to tackle the issue in advance was to already start automating our workflows. When we started doing it here in Mali, it was like so early. It was like not a lot of like ChatGPT wasn't there yet. So we already had like a low level task automation internally that was so helpful for us to be able to be effective on the field. But yeah. So this is basically my passion, my field. So if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. I'll also share my LinkedIn with everybody. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks, Mohammed. That was really great. And like as Mohammed says, like he's really the expert at automating these kind of workflows. He not only understands the technical side of how to apply AI, how these AI tools work, but he very much understands the intricacies of these workflows because he's worked in the space, he's worked for non-profits, he's implemented programs, he's had to do these donor reports himself, aggregate the data, etc. So yeah, in these discussions, in these masterclasses, like please ask as many questions as possible because you've got a great resource here in that you've got someone that has worked through the kind of workflows that you're all working through and someone that's applied AI to them. So it'd be great to get like really a bit more of a back and forth discussion going in the next session. If there's any more questions today, please let me know. Oh, just one thing I wanted to just finish on is that it'd be great if everyone could like log into the Reports AI platform and create your accounts so that we can set you up on the free account as discussed. So if it's super easy to log in, if you have any troubles, then just let me know, and I'll include I'm going to include this recording. I'm going to include the documents that Mohammed mentioned, and I'm also going to include a demo of how to use a Reports AI platform. So if there's any questions, just reach out to us because we're always going to be here to answer anything. That's really what we're here for. We want to make sure that you get as much use out of this as possible. But yeah, otherwise that's all. If there's not any questions right now, then we'll wrap up today, and I'll send you over everything. Is there any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question on Archie.
Yep. Hey,
you've mentioned a platform that we should register on. Could you kindly repeat that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure. I am just quickly, I know I'm conscious of time, but I'm just quickly going to share my screen just to show you quickly. So this is the Reports AI platform. It's just a browser-based app, so you don't have to install anything. You can just come here and log in. So let me just post in the chat the link to it, but I'll include this link in the email as well, along with a YouTube video showing like a demo of using the platform, because I don't really have time to do like a full demo today. But in terms of like getting started here, once you get into this platform, you see this big orange button at the top says get started for free. You just click that. Wait, let me log out because to show you how it will look for you. So when you press get started for free, you'll see this. You can sign in with Google. It will automatically just activate you a free account, like on a free trial. We're going to extend that for you because as agreed that you get a free access to Reports AI. So, or if you prefer, you can just register with sign up with your email here. So you can either sign in with Google, or you can just sign up with your email. So you want to use a different email rather than Gmail, you can just do that down here. Sign up with your email. You'll see this page. It just asks you for your name, email, password. Hi Paul, you got a question?
Yes, good afternoon, Archie.
Hiya, how you doing?
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I joined a bit late because the email indicated for 14 p.m. to 15 p.m. So the meeting has begun on 13 p.m. So I wanted to find out the correct on the timing so that we are not losing out.
Oh, so we're on East Africa time, so Nairobi time, EAT. So that's 2 p.m. EAT. Which
Alright.
time zone are you on, Paul?
Yeah, Zambia. Okay, Zambia is starting 13, which is the 14.
Okay, yes, yeah, so yeah, you're an hour behind us. So is it 2 o'clock now for you then?
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock now.
Okay. Yeah, so whenever I post those times, there'll be EAT, so East Africa time, Nairobi time.
Okay. Then on the other side, since I joined a bit late, so are you able to actually share with the recording so that after this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Don't worry. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this recording. I'm going to share all the materials, and any other questions. Then yeah, you can just reach out to me as well, Paul, and I'm always around to answer questions. But just to quickly show you all what it looks like when you log in. So once you actually get into the platform, this is what it looks like. And the only thing it'll ask from you is to give a brief organization description. So you see it's my organization part at the top here on the left-hand side, my organization there. It just asks for the name of your organization. So I've set this platform up as a fictional non-profit based in Kenya that works on maternal health. You can put your website URL there, so we can pull some information from your website, but you can also describe your organization. So this is just like a brief overview of what your organization is and what it does. This just gives the platform context of your organization and what you do that we can then use when generating reports, etc. And you can put different users within the platform. So you've got myself here. I've given myself a role as a monitoring and evaluation manager and a brief role description. And then I've got Mohammed in there as well. He's a country officer and a brief role description. So this just helps when you then come to generating reports. But we're going to get into actually generating reports and using the platform in later sessions. So I won't do it right now. I'm just gonna, with the documents that I send you over, I'll include a YouTube video that's like a demo of the platform, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. You can play around with the platform if you want, but we're going to go into actually using it practically in the other masterclasses. So unless there's any other questions, we'll wrap it up today. Zach, you want to say something?
No, thank you. It's not clear.
Okay, good. All right, brilliant, great. Well, thanks all for joining, and yeah, I'll send that all over to you today, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you on the next session. Thanks.
Okay,
Take care.